Ladies and gentlemen, we are back for another day of Washington Commander training camp with Jaden Daniels. We get a little bit more news regarding Terry McLaurin, but outside of that, team is looking really good so far. We're going to break down all the news, notes, highlights, observations from today's practice. Before we dive into the video, I do want to give a major shout out to Mitchell here and a bunch of other Washington Commander media members who are going to continue to shout out throughout this video. Without them, these videos are just not possible to make. So do me a favor and go follow them on Twitter or X if you haven't already done so. Comment down below a couple of players that you are really excited to see throughout this year's preseason game process. Who are a couple of guys that you think could potentially break out for this team? And with that being said, let's kind of dive into the news and notes of another practice here for the Washington Commanders. Now, obviously, one of the biggest pieces of news that has dropped over the last few, maybe like 24 hours, Terry McLaurin was ending his holdout. However, essentially, he is not even close to where he wants to be in terms of the contract talks. Now, we don't know how far off, but it seems like they are a good distance away on those talks. I mean, we saw DK Metcalf's number, and he kind of wants to be in that area. And it doesn't seem like the Washington Commanders are close to that spot as well. So, as of right now, we have no idea when this is going to get done. He is at practice. He is not participating. But they are trying to figure out a way to get him back into practice and make sure that he's here for games going into the season. It's going to be tough if they can come to an agreement, but I'm sure it'll happen at some point. The Commanders know, right? Adam Peters, Dan Quinn, they know they need Terry McLaurin to win games this year. They just do. Well, the Commanders are also very happy with what their offensive line is currently looking like, and they believe that this offensive line could be way better than it was last season. And if we're being honest here, it makes sense. You add Laremy Tunsil, one of the best tackles in football, to protect the blind side of your quarterback, right? You also add a guy in Josh Connerly, and you still have Andrew Wiley at right tackle. So your tackle position seems solidified. At least at right tackle, you're going to get some type of camp battle going on, and they'll see who ultimately finishes off at that right tackle one position. But man, this offensive line does look a lot better with Tunsil and with the new right tackle, Josh Connerly. But they do have an injury, right? Sam Cosme. You add Nate Herbig in the offseason, but he retires today. So there are some question marks. There are some really good things, but there are still question marks. Is Brandon Coleman going to continue to develop with this team? We're going to have to wait and see. And again, this footage here is from Mitchell. You guys go follow him if you haven't already done so. But here's a little bit more. All right, just working on technique, driving back. I believe that one was Andrew Wiley working on the outside. Again, both these guys have a long battle to go here. It's going to be interesting to see who ultimately wins that starting right tackle spot. Unfortunately, I don't have too much more footage for you. We could watch Jacoby Jones dropping this ball over the middle a couple of times before we dive into what happened at practice today. But there is one more player that I wanted to give a major shout out to, and that is no other than rookie running back, 7th round pick, Jacory Merritt. I mean, he has been turning heads at camp so much. All the reporters are really amazed with how much love he is getting from the coaching staff this year. And Scott Abraham, who works for the Commanders and does a lot with this team, he actually put out a tweet saying, "I've never seen a 7th round draft pick get so much love as Jacory Merritt. The Commanders running back is starting to turn some heads at training camp, and this has been a something that we've seen over the past couple of weeks here. I mean, even throughout rookie minicamp and OTAs and mandatory minicamp, it seems like he is the one that's getting a ton of attention, a ton of just like burn when it comes to the first and second team. He's been getting some love, so watch out for him, man. He could really take off this season." Now, before we head any further into the video and actually break down a couple of players who look good during today's practice in 7-on-7s and 11-on-11s, make sure you guys do me a favor, hit the like button if you haven't already done so. Helps out the channel so much. If we get over, let's say, 500 likes on this video, I will continue to post these videos for the Commanders, not only throughout all of training camp, but also Preseason football, we got you guys covered. Regular season football, we got you guys covered with some all 22 coaches film. So make sure you guys join the family if you haven't already done so, and turn on post notifications. That way you're notified every time we post one of these videos. With that being said, let's dive into some players who looked really good during today's portion of practice. Usually when I'm trying to figure out what's happening during 11-on-11s and 7-on-7s, because they're not able to show it, I usually go look for JP Finley. He does a great job covering this team as well, and tweets out some stuff about players who are starting to look good and are doing good in these portions of practice. So he put out a tweet saying Deebo laid out for a deep ball, great catch. And I talked a little bit yesterday about, with Terry McLaurin being out, Deebo is starting to really get acclimated a little bit more quickly, because he's usually a go-to target for Jayden Daniels on these plays. Now, if Terry McLaurin was here, it would probably be a little bit different, but because McLaurin is out, because Noah Brown is missing a couple of days here, Deebo is getting a lot of looks. But not only Deebo, but also Jalen Lane. I mean, he has made great plays on what it feels like back-to-back days. I mean, I think yesterday mossed someone in the back of the end zone, actually maybe even two people. But Jalen Lane, Deebo Samuel, these guys are really starting to get acclimated here with this team as brand new players. And I feel like because McLaurin's out, it's happening a little bit quicker, which, you know, is a positive in a negative situation. He also tweeted out a little bit about Will Harris and Von Miller, said really good speed and contain from a Will Harris-Von Miller combo on a run play. Now, Von Miller is an interesting piece of this team. Let me actually really quickly go to their depth chart just so we can kind of look at what it's looking like. Offensively, you have Dorrance Armstrong, you have Deron Payne, you have Javon Kinlaw. Now, Von Miller will probably be, I don't want to say he'll probably start, but I don't think he's going to play every single snap. I don't think he's a 3-down player at this point in his career. Over the past few years, I feel like he's been used a little bit more as a depth piece to come off and, you know, apply pressure to the quarterback. But I do think he is a really good fit within this football team. I do think that he's going to be a massive upgrade, as well as Will Harris. These are two guys who are brand new to this team. Will Harris at safety coming over from New Orleans, and then you have Von Miller coming over from Buffalo. These are two big-time signings in my opinion, and they're already starting to make plays in the football field pretty much early on in camp. Now, we also got a tweet from Scott Abraham coming out and saying, I think Commanders' second-year linebacker Jordan McGee is going to take a leap this season. He's certainly learning from the best in Bobby Wagner. That is, you know, for no debate. Frankie Louvu and Ken Norton, definitely a good piece to have in this linebacker core. Like we said, they have Bobby, they have Louvu here as more of a weak side. But Jordan McGee, if they ever need someone to come in and play a role this season, I think he will be that guy. They also do like Kane over here. He's just a little bit inexperienced, obviously, in the NFL. He is a rookie, so he's probably going to take a little bit of time to really get acclimated here. Again, don't be surprised if Jordan McGee is going to be a good player for them. Let's see if Scott Abraham said anything else about today's practice. We aren't really allowed to show these videos, haven't gotten permission to. Marshawn Lattimore. So again, go follow Scott Abraham if you want to see these videos. Bobby Wagner, there's Jordan McGee there. Josh Connerly. So it looks like that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think overall. I don't have too much coverage. Again, they're not allowed to show any 7-on-7s or 11-on-11s. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Hit the like button, subscribe, join the family, turn on post notifications. So I'm breakouts really quickly. Go through breakouts so far at camp. Let's talk about Deebo, just because he's been standing out. Let's talk about Ja'Cory Brooks. Has looked really good over the first week or so. They like what they're seeing in Josh Connerly. Nate Herbig has retired from the NFL. Anyone else really? Okay, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, another guy standing out offensively. Now on the defensive side of the ball, Von Miller's looking really good. Jordan McGee's looking really good. Trey Amos is outstanding right now. Mike Sanderstoke moving to the nickel seems perfect. I think that's about it. Let me know in the comments who else is standing out to you guys from what you guys have heard. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.